I'm back with another video. This video is going to be about insurance requirements. Insurance can be really ambiguous and super hard to navigate and understand. So I'm going to attempt to make this video as informative as possible with what I already know and kind of help you figure out how you figure out insurance. So if you're looking to get your bariatric surgery through your insurance provider, there are a few things that you need to know. Number one, you need to know the CPT codes, and I'm going to put those codes below this video in the description for you. I only have two CPT codes. I only have the CPT codes for gastric bypass and sleeve gastrectomy. Those two codes, you can call up your health insurance. It's the number on the back of the card for customer care, and you say, hey, I have these CPT codes. I need to know if they're covered under my plan. And then you give them the numbers and they'll let you know. Okay? Something else to know is that even though, let's say that you call up your insurance and they say, I'm sorry, this isn't covered. There is a caveat to that. The thing is that if you don't have the highest paid tier of your insurance, if you don't have like the best of the options within your employer's insurance package, you may be able to get approval or have coverage for this surgery through one of the higher paid tier plans. I don't necessarily know how to go about figuring that out. Anna has more information on that. The only reason that we know this is because her and I work for the exact same employer. So obviously we are offered the same healthcare packages. And she picked a lower tier and I picked the highest possible tier. The reason that I did that is because I knew that this year I was going to embark on a health journey that was going to require multiple visits, multiple tests, and it was just going to be expensive. And so it was more cost effective for me to pick the highest paid tier plan, with just only me on it, and have the lowest out-of-pocket max, the lowest deductible, and the lowest copays possible. However, Anna was not needing that in the same way that I was, and so she picked a more cost-effective for her family. And what we found out, sorry, I'm trying to kill a spider. Kill them. Okay. What we found out is that only the highest tier of our package, our employer's health package, had coverage for bariatric surgery. So when the insurance renewal came up, she had to upgrade to the highest plan in order for it to be covered. So I just tell you that because if you don't have the highest plan and you call and they say it's not covered, don't stop looking. Try to figure out if the highest or one of the higher tiers begin to have coverage for that, because it could really help you to think about upgrading your plan to a higher tier just to have coverage for the surgery. And that is my word of wise, the word whatever. I can't do these things. I do not do these synonyms things well. Okay, that is my word to the wise. There we go. So I have pulled up Aetna, which is my insurance, and this has kind of been like my gastric bypass Bible, okay? I have read this multiple times and gotten an understanding of what's going on here. But before we dive in, I want to let you know that before you dive into the requirements of your surgery and your insurance, you're going to need to know what your BMI is. That is BMI. If you don't know what your BMI is, it's really easy to get it calculated. Just go into Google, quickly type in BMI calculator, and then it's going to ask you for your height and your weight, and it will give you a BMI. Just for informational purposes only, no, I'm kidding. I am 29 years old. That doesn't matter. Your BMI doesn't matter on your age. I'm 5'7". I am 307 pounds, and my BMI is 48 and a half. I think. Don't quote me exactly. The last time I checked, it was 48 and a half. It might have been 312. My highest weight is 312. So, yeah. The reason that you need to know that, though, is because some insurances have these tiers, which I'm about to go over with you right now. So, I'm sorry, this is going to be super technical, maybe a little bit boring. If you don't like that kind of stuff, this video is probably going to be boring to you, but there are a lot of people out there that want to know this. So, for Aetna specifically, gastric bypass, laparoscopic gastric banding, sleeve gastrectomy, and the duodenal switch, these procedures, Aetna considers them medically necessary when the selected criteria listed below are met. So in Section A, you must meet either 1 or 2. So Section 1 is for adults and Section 2 is for adolescents. So I scroll down to Section 1. For adults age 18 years or older, a presence of persistent severe obesity documented in contemporaneous clinical records defined as any of the following. So it's saying that you must have proof of being clinically obese documented in your medical records for any of the following. So body mass index exceeding 40 measured prior to the preoperative program, or so A is you must have a BMI of 40 or above before surgery, or B, a BMI greater than 35 prior to the preoperative program in conjunction with any of the following severe comorbidities. So let's unpack that. What this is saying is that you're either, if you have a BMI above 40, then these are the requirements you need to go through to get approval. It's considered medically necessary. You don't have to have diabetes, high blood pressure, coronary heart disease. Like, you don't need to have all of that if your BMI is over 40. However, if your BMI falls between 35 and 40, you must also present with a severe comorbidity. So if you want to get approved for weight loss surgery and your BMI is 36, you must also have clinically significant obstructive sleep apnea or coronary heart disease or medically refractory hypertension, so basically high blood pressure, or type 2 diabetes, or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So if you're, basically what this is saying is BMI over 40, that's enough for approval. BMI between 35 and 40, you must have one of those severe comorbidities that I also just described. So for me specifically, because my BMI is very much over 40, I would scroll down to, now I'm going to Section B. Member has attempted weight loss in the past without successful long-term weight reduction. And member has participated in an intensive multi-component behavioral intervention designed to help participants achieve or maintain weight loss through a combination of dietary changes and increased physical activity. This intensive multi-component behavioral intervention must meet all of the following criteria. So I'm not going to go into detail with this, but it's basically saying that the behavioral intervention must be documented in medical records, and it must comply with a program. And then it's just telling the doctors how to make notes of this, and that, like, for members who participate in an intensive multi-component behavioral intervention, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, MediFast, OptiFast, those can substitute for medical records. So if you have done these kinds of diets, that can be considered part of this multi-component program. Number 2 that it says is that It could be in person or remote, so you don't have to be in person to do these appointments. Part 3 says that, and this is important, I'll touch on why this is important in a minute, but it says the program must be intensive and occur within 2 years prior to the surgery, meaning 12 or more sessions over any duration of time. Let's unpack that too. Meaning that you need to have 12 multi-component intensive behavioral intervention, okay? Which is my nutritionist program that I'm in now. And I specifically linked with this nutritionist because they work specifically with my surgeon. So there would be no gray areas on what this surgeon needs to, what this nutritionist needs to document, what they need to provide in the notes. Like, it's all going to be done the way that it's supposed to be done for insurance purposes, for my approval. And that's why I chose to go with the surgeon's nutritionist and not find one on my own. Another thing that I think is important to touch on is the fact that this is 12 appointments over any duration of time, meaning you can have 12 appointments in 1 month, 12 appointments in 2 years, 12 appointments in 75 days. Like, it doesn't matter. As long as those 12 appointments happened within the 2 years prior to surgery. And that is important because a lot of websites have that wrong. A lot of them will say 12 supervised visits over 2 years. That would lead people to think that you have to wait 2 years before getting surgery to be approved because you have to have 12 visits in those 2 years. But they leave out the over any period of time part. And I super duper stress that if you're going to be looking up the requirements of your surgery for your insurance, that you get it from your insurance's website like I did. This literally says Aetna. This is the most accurate information that you can get, because I have seen multiple wordings of the things that Aetna has on different websites that is very inaccurate and borderline discouraging. If I were somebody that was just looking into the journey and I found something that wasn't from my insurance and I wasn't more educated, it would probably be discouraging. Journey ending. I would look at it and go, well, I'm just not, I don't want to do this. I don't want to wait 2 years, This is such a life-changing decision that it's almost kind of like, if I don't do it, I'm not going to do it. And I think that that's important to talk about. So after that, it goes to section C and D and E and F. And basically what these things are saying is that you need a screening for obstructive sleep apnea. You need a cardiac clearance by a cardiologist for any person with a cardiac history. You need optimized glycemic control. So they need to get basically test your, I don't know how you say that medically, but they need to test your blood sugar, okay? And then for members who have a history of severe psychiatric disturbance, they need to have a psychiatric clearance. I think everything that the surgeon orders is going to be patient specific, depending on your health history. Most surgeons are going to ask for more than what the insurance is asking for the sake of your success in the surgery. I know that our surgeon wants us to have a ultrasound of the liver. I think that that's important. Our surgeon wants us to have a chest x-ray. I'm not entirely sure why. I have not had my first appointment yet. When I do, I'll go over all that because I'll have a lot of questions for the surgeon. Anna has had her first appointment. So that's the only reason that I know some of the things that our surgeon is requiring. However, those things that our surgeon required from Anna, which is my best friend, if you didn't know and you're just tuning in to my channel, Anna's my best friend. She's going to get gastric bypass as well. We're doing this together. We actually have the exact same surgery date, and she has already seen our surgeon. So the things that the surgeon asked Anna to get may be related to Anna specifically and her health. Also, I do want to point out that just because insurance says, yeah, it's with this criteria, it's medically necessary, it does not automatically mean that you're going to be approved. And I think that that's something that's important to talk about. It's something that I'm very aware of, but it's for your well-being. You know, there are tests that all of us need to go through in order to make sure that we're healthy enough to undergo this type of major surgery. And, you know, there could be things like cirrhosis of the liver or major hernias or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a surgeon, but there are a lot of things that can make us not eligible for this type of surgery. So while I have said, yep, I want to do this, and I've started the process and I've looked it up and I've gotten it going, there's still a very real chance that either myself or Anna could be denied for surgery based off of our current health alone. And that's a very real possibility. And I want anyone that's watching to know ahead of time that there's still a chance that you could not get this surgery. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring this video to an end. I think I've been very thorough with what I know about insurance so far. If you have any questions, just put it in the comments below. I'll do my best to help you if I know how, or point you in the direction of how to get that help. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing more subscribers. Subscribe to my channel. I'm so excited you're here, and I can't wait to make the next video. Bye, guys.